Dear students, we know that the poem that we have undertaken for our discussion, namely The Soldiers, written by Rupert Brook, is a very fantastic poem, not only for the soldiers but for the common people as well. We know that having a patriotic feeling is equally important for all, including soldiers. Our nationalism has been very much a dominant idea in the life of the citizens. So we cannot say that it is just for the soldier only that he should have the patriotic feeling. We should take a point in our mind that citizens should also live with patriotic feeling and be ready to sacrifice their lives for the country. If we live for the country, being the citizens, we are just bound to make our country progress. So, actually, soldiers are fighting for the country at the border, but we people living within the country can also fight for the country and country's progress or country's safety. So we can say all citizens are soldiers. We may understand that soldiers are just a kind of mindset that we prepare ourselves for being the soldiers. And when we live our life from soldiers' point of view, we make ourselves ready to develop our country and to develop our life as well. Here, I, Dr. Naveen Kumar Jha, present this time Concerns in the Soldier by Rupert Brook. Just we should be particular when we are talking a poem, and we should also try to generalize this idea for the common concern as well. First of all, from the reading of the poem that England has been characterized by peace and gentleness. This is the idea which has been just focused by the poet through the lines. So the poet is going to praise his country because it is a gentle place to live and because it is a peaceful place to live. So the image of the country has been made of peace, of gentleness, and the poet thinks that he is carrying the idea of peace, idea of gentleness in his personality, and so it is the best thing which he has inculcated in his life, and so he is ready to sacrifice even his life for the country. So the poet has all praises for England, and we should also have all praises for our country. But there is a danger when we are keeping the praise excessively without accommodating the goodness of other country as well. We are just going to create a chaos, because here the point is that every country has its own virtue, its own value, and its own image to be praised. No, we should love our country, we should praise our country, but it doesn't mean that we should demean the value of other country. We can say during the First World War, it was excessive nationalistic idea which has just brought out the vicious war that human civilization had faced. Now, sometimes it happens when we are eccentric in our way of expression of our love for the country. We just break all the limits that we should always hold while talking about nationalism. Here, the poet has good idea for his country, But it does not mean that we should hate other country and we should try to devalue other country. Now, it has been seen that the very much root cause of the conflict in society has been this eccentric idea that only our country is great, only our culture is great, only our civilization is great, and other country, other civilization are inferior to ours. From the anthropological point of view, we can say that it has been very much uh, disastrous for making and maintaining solidarity in human society. Most often, we witness the conflicts, the fights, and bloodshed within society for what we can call excessive love for our country or excessive love for our culture. So this is a very just much thing that we should avoid. The poet has always praised his country, and just it is why he thinks that being the soldier, he is ready for just giving his life for the country. And if he dies into the foreign country, that place itself becomes just an extended England, because his country is representing his body, dead body even is representing his country. And so that foreign land where he dies is an extended part of England. I think it is a little bit extended patriotic feeling that we should try to control. It doesn't mean that a foreign country, if it is not an just English country, has no value, has no elements of praise. But being the soldier, because here the speaker is soldier, so the poet makes him speak this kind of thing. Unless he is full with that kind of patriotic feeling that he is carrying the symbol of his country, and we can say it happens just to the players also, to the people who are representing their country, that wherever they go, country goes with him or with them. So, and then it is on his mind always that he does not make any kind of compromise for the sovereignty of his country. So they are the great people in the sense that they lead their country, they represent their country, and so wherever they stand for the country and they stand off the country. Okay, it is in this way he is right. But if we start fighting in the name of extension of the just a value of his country in any corner of the world, we can say that it can invite lots of problems. So he is just describing the sights, sounds, dreams, laughter, friends, gentleness belonging to England. England has everything: good sights, good sounds, good dreams, good laughter, good friends, and the best example of gentleness on this land, on this earth. So he has been offered everything. That is the best sight, best sounds, best dreams, best laughter, and everything best which he finds in England has been enjoyed. And he is intending to tell that this is rarely available at another part of the world. And he wants to say that it is here in England itself that we can say that this kind of excellent sight, sounds, dreams are found. And we do not have this kind of just a vision, this kind of thing to be observed in other part of the world. No, maybe it is the poet's personal viewpoint that he loves his country more, so he does not find any comparison elsewhere, and it should be just the soldier's point of view. But the point is that we find that every country has its own sights, sounds, dreams, laughter, friends, and we can say the people enjoy wherever they live. the sights, sounds, dreams, laughter of that place. So the poet is just thankful to England, and satisfactorily he goes for fighting the country, and he is ready, or he may die for this kind of beautiful country. No, so because the beauty is very much here, so he loves dying for the beauty of the country. So the poet says that England is a happy place, and England is filled with just the very, very good life made of laughter, friends, sounds, and dreams. And we people can also think about our country too. We can also say that our country is full with the beautiful sounds, dreams, laughter. And it is why, if this kind of feeling is just up to just a limited, just a sphere, it's all right that we should be just living for the country, feeling best for the country, but we should never just break the boundary of this kind of feeling. So, England has been characterized by peace and gentleness, and English taste is richer, no doubt. It is just like heaven for the poet, and so it is the richer, and his hearts are at peace under an English heaven. We can also feel, being Indians, that our heart is at peace under Indian heaven, and so on. And so we are always making praise for our country, as Rupert Brook is making praise for his country, England, and soldiers are just going to do everything for their country. We can say that when we are talking about the structure, it is no doubt sonnet, but this kind of sonnet includes both Petrarchan or Italian structure and Shakespearean or English structure. We can find here a glimpse of Petrarchan Italian structure of sonnet, and at the same time Shakespearean and English structure of sonnet. Or we find that a structure of this sonnet is following Petrarchan mode, but the rhyme scheme of this poem is following Shakespearean mode. So it is just very much a good command that is reflected in this poem of the poet, that he has used both the types of sonnet, that structure is going to follow Petrarchan mode and rhyme scheme is going to follow Shakespearean mode. Now we can talk about the octave that presents reflection, and the sestet evaluates the reflection. So the completeness of idea comes when we are moving from octave to sestet. And we find that he stops reader mourning his death. He says, no, there should not be any kind of mourning on his death, being the soldier, because soldier is just waiting for this time, this day, when he dies for the country. It is the best death one can see in this world. There is no better way of living this world than die for the country. So why to mourn when you already know that we have to depart one day? But when you depart being a soldier, fighting and sacrificing our life for the country, we can say, oh ho ho, it is the best death that we have chosen for ourselves. So death should be memorable. Death should be lovable, and even the disease should be happy with the death. It is what the best death is. If we are dying for dying's sake, it doesn't mean anything. So actually, the poet thinks that a soldier makes his death lovable, sacrificing his life for the country. And so we say that it is a great sense of loss, no doubt. Death is a loss that the poet describes, but we can say this loss we are going to face, either in terms of natural death or in any kind of death. So why should you not be choosing the death that is for the country, that we even live after this life? it will be what the greatest death would be. So we can say that it is in this way the poet is describing the death of the soldiers, which are not the death, but actually it is just a way of immortalizing the life. So there are deaths which have immortalized the life. Now we can say the death of Martin Luther King. It is not a death that we should mourn for. It is just the death which has immortalized him. Or we can say the death of Mahatma Gandhi. It is not a normal death. It is the death that the people are waiting for, which have made their life immortalized. And likewise, when the soldier is just sacrificing his life for the country, it is the death which has not finished his life, but which has immortalized his life. So, it is the greatest boon that a soldier gains through his death. Now, we can say that there are three quatrains rhyming ABAB, CD, EFEF, and a final rhymed couplet GG. Later on, in just the final part that we are taking tomorrow, we are going to talk about rhyming a scheme in detail. So simply we should know that there are three quatrains made of 4 lines each, which are rhymed ABAB, CD, EFEF, and finally there is just what we can call just GG couplet. So it is fully just following Shakespearean mode of sonnet. So later on we can come to this point. So we can say, once again coming back to this, that the poem had been written during the First World War, which broke out in 1914. And we know that this was the time when all the countries were full with patriotic and just patriotic feeling. Okay, we can say that it is an idealistic poem, which expresses a soldier's love for his motherland. It should be the soldier's thought. The poet believes that a soldier is to think in this light. Because when soldiers are hesitant to sacrifice their life for the country, they cannot be serving the country in the best possible way. So a soldier can just live for the country and can idealize their lives for the country in this way, the way the poet has described in this poem. So it is, as a matter of fact, an idealistic presentation of the life of the soldier. It should be. It is a normative way of life of the soldier. So just we can say, because soldier is very much associated with country. So the country which has been the nurturing paradise, which has been full with all sort of beauty, that paradise is just very much on the earth. It is why it has been described as a heaven. So the soldier takes this view very seriously. So we can say that England is both just for the soldier. It is the just origin of his existence, and the poet thinks that he should return when he dies to the same place. So he wishes to be born here only in England. So he wants to take all birth on England. How nice it is to feel being English. But I think that it is what the common expression is of the common people. So it is the poem which makes the soldier enthusiastic for the war. There should not be sorrow feeling when just we are soldiers fighting for the country. We should not be feeling sorry for any kind of thing. Let us try to go to war full with enthusiasm that there is just grim realities about the life of the soldiers. We just are quoting life of the soldiers full with grim realities that, okay, one day they are going to die fighting lots of things, lots of conflicts. So the people are thinking that it is not a kind of enjoyable life. Now, this time you can say lots of people are not joining army, all because of grim realities and death, which they think is meaningless. Why to invite death? Why not to live for long life? Why not to enjoy the life? And even sacrificing for the country living a short life is not a wise decision. It is what most of the people are thinking this time, but the poet think that this is not an idealistic a stage of mindset of the soldier. If you are just thinking from that point of view, you cannot be a true soldier. And if you have only thought that living a long life is the guarantee of a happy life and is the guarantee of enjoying the life, perhaps you are misconceived. You are not thinking into the right way. So it doesn't mean whether you are living long or short. Matter is that how brilliantly you have lived, how nicely you have lived, and how artistically you have lived. There's so many people who have just lived short. Now here we have the example of Swami Vivekananda. We have the example of just Keats, John Keats, and so on. But you find Rupert Brook himself perhaps died very young. Just he was 27 and 28. So this is not the matter of length. We are arguing this time that you are born for living a long life. We should. There is no harm in living a long life, but it should not be a meaningless, or it should not be on the fact that it is for this reason that we are born to live long life. No, the point is that we should just live with sense of duty for society, for people, for country. And when we are living and sacrificing everything on the path of duty, it is the best way of living the life. Whether it is long or it is short, Gandhi too lived a long life, but he has not lived for life. Rather, he has taken the responsibility of India's freedom movement, and in between he has faced lots of problems. He was just killed also, but it doesn't mean for him. Only meaningful thing is that he lived with a purpose, and a soldier has also a purpose to serve the nation. And to fulfill that purpose, we are going to face lots of conflicts and even death. And for that, the soldier should, and the common people should also not have any wrong feeling, sorry feeling. And we can say that now here it is just that expression of soldiers' love for the homeland. And we have already just explained everything, that it is all the enthusiasm that should be very much there in the mind of the soldier, in the mind of the people, and for that reason we should live very happily. Otherwise life becomes meaningless, and we people simply cannot live a very successful life for us. So here we are just going to make a concluding remark with which we should live, and we should try to find that it is a life that we are going to find, and it is a life for which we should be happy. We should not be trying to make life for life. We should try to make the life that should be a meaningful life for us. And I think that we should stop here, and we should make this kind of thing